Another full day of eating on 1200 calories or less. Got some sweet and sour chicken here. If you want to see the recipe and how I split the portion sizes up using MyFitnessPal, then head over to my YouTube. Got a lot more in-depth stuff there. Essentially that's chicken, low sugar sweet and sour sauce with plenty of vegetables. And I've got some mushrooms that I've stuffed with light and light mayo, some light cheddar cheese, Phage 0% fat yogurt, and lightest Philadelphia. I grilled that for a few minutes, and I've got my vitamin C there, which I usually start my day off with, and a coffee with 1 teaspoon of lighter coffee mate, and then some honey, 5 grams, and creatine, 2.5 grams. So total calories thus far, 428. And the macro split, 61 protein, 28 carbs and 7 fat. So I'll have half that now and half that later. That's 2 portion sizes. If you enjoy the videos or find them useful, then please consider giving the video a like, following me, or head over to my YouTube to see more in-depth natural bodybuilding videos. Meal 2, the remaining portion of my sweet and sour chicken. That is the spot. Really nice. So I fancy something sweet now. I've got a Lindahl's protein pudding. This is a salted caramel flavour one, and the macros are great. 0.3 grams of fat, 10.3 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of protein. So this fits very nicely into the parameters of the diet that I'm following currently. On those low days, I'm looking for low carbohydrate, low fat, and moderate to high protein intake. Then on the refeed days, I would then increase my carbohydrates massively so I could have something like this with maybe some rice cakes. So I'm always trying to look for products in the supermarket that make it easier for me to hit my macros if I don't fancy eating whole, home cooked food every single meal of every single day. So it's nice to have these products in the fridge for when you fancy them. That's quite tasty. Not too sweet, it's subtle. Obviously the carbs being low, it's not packed full of sugar, but a decent hit of protein, and it tastes fairly good. So good product. Products like this can be quite beneficial on a cut, especially on those low calorie days, because it gives you something sweet to eat, gets rid of those cravings, something to look forward to, and it helps you increase your protein intake, but not at the expense of your fat grams and your overall calories. Now if you're bulking, however, products like this are a waste of money. Completely useless in my opinion. You should have no problem whatsoever in reaching your protein targets. If you're struggling on a bulk to hit your protein requirements, then they're simply too high, or you're not eating varied enough foodstuffs and you're trying to limit your dietary fat. You can eat whole eggs, red meat, salmon, beans, legumes, even in bread there's protein. You should have no problem whatsoever. The main difference between cutting and bulking is the level of carbohydrate and fat intake. Protein will remain somewhat consistent between the two. So eat varied foods, don't worry about keeping your dietary fat too low. You can let that go up to 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 grams if need be to get your protein in. Use these products when you're on a cut and when you're trying to limit your fat intake, when you haven't got too many protein sources to work from. Last meal of the day, got a prawn cocktail salad, 150 grams of prawn, plenty of shredded lettuce, light and light mayo, 30 grams, and about 13 grams of sriracha with a squeeze of lime. I've got a very sour pickle here. This is the lowest sugar option that they do, so very tangy. And then about 75 grams of fruit. I've got a piece of watermelon, a piece of mango, and papaya under there. And that's going to be washed down with a fruit tea. Echinacea and elderberry flower, I believe. So pretty hungry at this point, so a little taste of this one. Very tangy, but delicious. That's about 2 grams per 100 gram, 2 grams of carbohydrate per 100 gram. Some of the sweeter ones go up to maybe 10. So yeah, very tangy. Can't beat a bit of prawn cocktail. Great for dieting. Just swap out full fat mayo with light and light. A little bit of tomato ketchup or some kind of tangy sauce. Lovely. So the total calories came in at 1,066. My macros were 156 protein, 74 carbs, 14 fat. It's no joke eating like this. Food is going to be on your mind for the most part, all day, every day. Lethargy is high, but it's very, very effective in burning body fat. It's one hell of a deficit.